Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all in the best of health. Today's video is all about brows, and lately I've been loving fluffy brows. My brows have gone through a humongous transformation. I went from doing the block brow to now doing the fluffy brow. And I've got a few hacks for you in this video that you guys probably have not seen anywhere else. Please make sure you are subscribed to my channel so that you can see more of my videos. I am posting every Saturday starting today for the foreseeable future, so please do support. I would really appreciate it. If you want to see how I did these amazing brows, please keep watching. Okay, so the first step you're gonna do is make sure your brows are moisturized. I know this is a bit odd and a bit of a weird request, but you don't want to put any product on flaky eyebrows. Trust me girl, I've been there and it's not pretty. I like to moisturize around the area and just a tiny bit in the skin under your eyebrow hairs. The skin under your eyebrows is also skin and it gets flaky and dry, and sometimes when you comb through it, you're gonna notice there's a lot of like little dry flakes, especially if you have dry skin naturally. So make sure you're always putting skincare, like your serums, your moisturizers, in your brows to get them nice and perfected. So I'm just using a basic moisturizer. I'm putting it all over my face, and I'll also go over very gently this area. Do you see how I rubbed it into my eyebrows like that? That's what we want to do. Not sure if I've mentioned this already, but I've had my brows microbladed. I've got them done in a way that they still look natural and I can still go out and not wear makeup and just look kind of like I have normal eyebrows. I did have normal eyebrows before, but I did have like a few gaps and stuff. And I wouldn't feel like I need to do them. But I also wanted them to be done in a way that if I wanted to put makeup on, I can still shape my brows how I want. And that's kind of the look that I went for. So that's why I still do my eyebrows. And this eyebrow tutorial is useful for anyone, whether you've got your brows microbladed or whether you haven't. First thing you want to do is pick your weapon. So I usually use the Benefit brow pencil and I love it so much. I use the shade 4 or 5, depending on how dark I want my brows. But I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty one today, and I've actually been loving it so much simply because the tip is so thin. It's amazing because you can get some super thin strokes, and that's what we want, to like brush them out a little bit, like so. Kind of get a scope of where my eyebrow hairs naturally fall. This is going to be different for every person. I like to make my brow a little bit thicker here, and I like to extend this brow because it's not very symmetrical to this one, so I like to extend this one a little bit because I feel like this one's a bit longer. So have a look at where you feel like your eyebrows need a little bit of filling, and those are the only areas that you will be filling in. Do you see how thin that pencil is? Look at that. So I like making a few strokes at the beginning of my eyebrow. Another thing I like to do a little bit is to bring down my brow. So I tend to go in to the bottom, but my brush strokes are limited, so they literally end here. They don't go all the way. And basically like this. Either way, don't worry if things look a bit blocky right now, because we've got a little magic trick later on, which I'm going to show you, and it's going to change your life, I promise you. Try and be a little bit light-handed with it so that you're not pressing too hard, especially with the Huda Beauty pencil. I have the shade number 7, by the way, which is black brown, but because it's so thin, the tip is so thin, so if you press too hard on it and if you take out too much of the pencil, you are going to break it. So you really want to be quite light-handed and gentle in this process. A little bit on the top, just to lift the brow ever so slightly. This one's a little bit longer and then it's a little bit more arched, which is why you saw me fill out the top a little bit. So with this one, what I want to do is I really want to fill out that bottom bit to bring it down ever so slightly. You kind of want to go in the direction of the hairs, how they naturally flow. That will give you the best results. And the reason why I do this before any of the rest of my makeup is because we're going to be concealing around the brow. And my biggest pet peeve is concealing around the brow after you've put foundation on. Unless you're using your own foundation to conceal around your brow, it's just not going to look right. Even so, like having like those, especially after you've done your eye makeup, I can't do that after I've done my eye makeup, especially because it will just ruin, the concealer will get on your eye makeup and it will just look weird and you'll just see this line of concealer. It's just not right. So I always try to do this first. So I'm happy with that for the time being. So now we're gonna grab our concealer. Now, the best concealer for this job, hands down, is Born This Way concealer by Too Faced. It's super, super creamy and it doesn't set immediately, which gives you time to play around with it. If you need to blend a little bit more, if you need to change something in your brow, this gives you time to play around and work through with your brow. Conceal your eyebrows with a shade that's very similar to your skin tone, not a shade lighter, because my biggest pet peeve is that white line or that light line around your eyebrows. It's not flattering. All right, so I'm going for the shade Warm Beige. It's got that perfect neutral tone and it's a really close shade to my skin tone. And what I do is I just take a little bit of that and I put that on the back of my hand as so. Looks like this. Tools are important. So what you're gonna need is a flat brush of some kind. So this is the one that I use. This is a very, very old brush that I got from Anastasia Beverly Hills back in the day. I would say it's about 5 years old and it has literally stayed in shape all this time. If this is still on the website, I will link it below. If it's not, I'll link an alternative that is similar to this. I love how thin it is and I love the square shape. It just works perfectly to conceal around my eyebrows. Basically what you're doing at this stage is you're just concealing around your eyebrows and perfecting any mistakes you may have done when you over penciled any areas or whatnot. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna be doing a lot of like guide looks. So if you have any looks that you wanna see, even though I've already planned the looks I'm gonna do, by the way, I'm so excited for them. But if there's any looks that you wanna see anyways, let me know in the comments and I might possibly do it. So I'm just gonna conceal the top of my eyebrow now. So that is concealed. They're looking very blocky now, aren't they? And all of that feathering has kind of disappeared and it doesn't look as fluffy as we really want them to look. This is where the magic happens, ladies. I'm gonna be taking an angled brush. You can also use the brush that you just used if you don't have an angled brush, but I sometimes feel like this is a bit too thick for this job. So you need something that's quite thin and very, very narrow. This is also an angled brush by Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I got this one recently, so this is definitely going to be available on the website. It's the 7B brush, and you're just going to dip it in a little bit of the concealer. And what I want to do in this step is I really want to bring back the feathery, bushy brow look that I had first drawn on. And how you're going to do this is you are now going to create some concealer strokes. I know that sounds weird, but let me just show you. I am creating some concealer strokes in the direction that my hairs will naturally go. You see what I did there? So what I've done is I've used concealer to bring back those gaps that I had initially gotten rid of because of the way that we've concealed around the brow by using this angle brush. And it literally takes a second to do and it makes all the difference. I'm just gonna do the same thing on this eyebrow and I'm gonna show you. So I first start with the front of the brow and I go straight up like so. Do you see that? And because this brush is so narrow, it literally gets the perfect strokes. And it just makes it look like there's gaps between your hairs. And I personally think it really revives the look that I had initially been going for. So you start straight and then you kind of start slanting it backwards. And I also do it on the top, so I go downwards into the brow, like this. And then I also start slanting it ever so slightly. And I know it looks weird right now, but once I blend everything and I have the rest of my makeup on, you will see how amazing it's going to look. I'm really happy with them right now. All I need to do is blend the concealer, and I'm just going to use the bottom of my foundation brush. This is the It Cosmetics Complexion Perfection. Is it Complexion Perfection? Yep. Complexion Perfection brush. And I love the fact that it has this little concealer blending side. And I'm just blending that concealer. Do you see how easy it is to blend this concealer? It does not take any effort. And even though I left it on for a while, it doesn't get dry. And it's still very easy to blend. And I take a little bit of whatever's on that brush and I just very lightly tap that into the front of the brow just to kind of make that look just a little bit more natural, because I did create some brush strokes where I didn't have any hair, so I just want to make them look a little bit more natural. But literally a couple strokes of this blending brush and that concealer is completely blended. I made the brightness a little bit darker so you guys can see a little bit clearer. But do you see that? Trust me, this is a hack that you guys need to try. I'm gonna go and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the finishing touches that I'm gonna do to completely perfect these brows. So this is what my brows are looking like right now. I absolutely love them. I love how fluffy and feathery they look. They're just spot on, just how I like them. But I like to do one more finishing touch just to keep them in place for the whole day. And one item I absolutely love using for this is the Gimme Brow by Benefit. So this is basically a brow mascara, and it comes in with this sort of brush. What I love about this one compared to all the other brow mascaras I have used is the color isn't too overbearing. So something I've experienced with other brow mascaras is they'll tend to be a little bit too pigmented, in the sense that it will just deposit way too much pigment and it will just get all over the place. This one is not the same. And also it holds my brows in place all day. My brows, like so. And I like the look of them being brushed upwards to just amplify that fluffy look that we are loving in 2021. Look at that. Fluffy who? Even done a different scarf style so you guys can see every inch of my eyebrows. But look at that. What are we thinking? Would you try this brow look or not? Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in my next video next Saturday. Love you guys.